So I want to welcome Sarah Greene-Falk to Kokoro. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Alex.
Full disclosure, you were my therapist at one point in time, and you primarily work with athletes, but you do work with everyone. You can work with anyone in any situation. And the reason I've invited you here is because you introduced me to a really amazing concept that kind of changed my perspective on life. And it had to do with growth mindset versus fixed mindset. I want to kind of dive in and ask you to define both of those things for me. So would you start with growth mindset and then maybe tell us a little bit more about fixed mindset and what's the difference between the two?
Sure. Growth mindset is when we are able to make changes according to our intelligence or using self-reflection for self-growth. We take people's criticisms and, maybe use them constructively. Where fixed mindset is almost the belief that we can't change. Our intelligence is our intelligence. This is just the way I am. And there isn't this belief that we can change. Many times there's not even the self-reflection. So therefore, we're very limited with any type of self-growth.
Maybe you can provide for us some examples of the difference between the two and how they kind of manifest in different types of people.
Yeah. So if someone has a growth mindset, and let's say I've worked a lot with swimmers, and so there's maybe 3 or 4 events that they might do in a meet. And let's say maybe the first event didn't go as well as they had hoped. They can actually think about, well, what went wrong in that event? And what can I fix, right? What can I do differently? Okay, I'm gonna do visualization for this. This is my mental training for this. And they can choose to actually go to that. Now, if someone has a fixed mindset and they were in that same position, they would actually see that, wow, this is just not gonna be a good meet for me today. I am just not performing well. The whole day is gonna suck even. Like this big generalization of distorted thinking and not even giving it thought that they have control to do differently.
So it's almost like the fixed mindset, what ends up happening is that the person says, okay, this happened and this defines my performance going forward.
Yes.
I mean, in the instance that you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Whereas the growth mindset says, okay, this happened and now I need to figure out what adjustments I can make. They come to a barrier and they're trying to figure out, okay, what ways can I get around the barrier? Whereas it sounds like the fixed mindset, you come to the barrier and that's the barrier, like you can't do anything with it, which brings us to kind of this interesting question about failure with somebody between growth mindset and fixed mindset. So how do both of these types of approaches, how do they deal with failure?
So with growth mindset, there isn't necessarily a failure. It's more about, okay, this challenge has kind of crossed my path. Now what? What am I going to do about it? How am I going to navigate, like you said, or fix the situation or come at this from a different angle? Where if someone has a fixed mindset, like you said, it's this barrier. They're not seeing an opportunity to look around, navigate, try to do things differently. And not only that, you use the word define, which I find really important. It defines then who they are. So if they come to this barrier and they believe, oh, I have failed, many times they are then internalizing that as I am a failure. And when that happens, when we identify our performance with our core identity, that is very dangerous for our mental health. That's actually when I've seen a lot of my student athletes have suicidal ideations. And it's just dangerous. Our performance does not define who we are.
So if you find yourself in a fixed mindset position, what can you do to embrace a growth mindset? How can you change that about yourself?
That's a really good question. The science is there. So if we can make the decision that it is possible and try, because that's where the fixed mindset, like you said, it's like this barrier. We just stop. And it doesn't have to be that way. There has to be another way. And it is that choice and then attempting to move forward. that person might fall down another 10 times before they end up getting to where they want to go. But that's the part of perseverance, right? Is that you keep trying and moving forward despite how long it takes and the challenges. And as long as you still see some small goal progression, you're moving forward. And that's what matters. So hopefully they can still see the proof as they're moving forward.
So in light of growth versus fixed mindset, I put together a little snack for us. So I have some friends who are from Australia, and they talk about how they don't eat peanut butter, they eat Vegemite. Now, I've never had Vegemite before.
Okay. I have not either.
And so I'm trying to go into this with a growth mindset mentality of being willing to give it a try.
Okay.
And to see kind of how it is. So I've done it 2 different ways. I've done it with the Vegemite by itself and the Vegemite with butter.
Okay.
And I've heard that the Vegemite with butter is better.
Okay.
So do you want to give it a try and see how it goes?
Absolutely.
All right. This is the one with butter. So
is the one with butter?
Yeah, choose which one you want, and then we'll do it at the same time.
All
All right, are you ready? We're gonna
Cheers.
see. They say it's as good as peanut butter. I don't believe it. Okay.
It's a little salty.
It is a little salty. They also said going thin on it was the way to go.
I like the butter mix though.
Yeah. It's not peanut butter, but it is.
It's definitely not peanut butter, but
It's not bad.
hey,
It's
if I
actually
lived in
pretty decent.
Australia,
So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for imparting your wisdom to us. Thank you for changing my life. Just that one idea has had a huge impact on my life. So, I wish you all the best, and I know that you're helping so many more people, even beyond me.
thank you. It's my pleasure, and just a pleasure to work with people like you, just accompanying them on their journey. It's one of my true passions. So thank you so much, Alex.